And we're back.
And we're back like we never left.
Well, we did.
No, we didn't.
Here.
Fast breaks.
That's the saltiest year I've ever heard in my life.
When we break up on you fast. But we're not breaking up on this episode.
Come on, man.
Together.
Late night.
Late
Quiet
night
storm.
vibes.
Whispering
Late
it.
night vibes.
Don't be whispering people's ears. Nah.
Crazy.
Only Lance Stevenson, man.
That's exactly what
Whispering. Trying to blow on people's ears. This is crazy.
Which one is worse? Last Stevenson blowing people's ears or J.R. Smith untying people's shoes?
J.R.
That's
Smith,
funny.
that's a safety
That's
hazard.
funny. That's,
Nah,
that man's a
Lance-
Nah,
menace.
I don't want a man keep
J.R.
blowing in
Smith
my
is a
ear, man.
menace.
That's a
I don't
safety
know.
Lance is
hazard.
worse,
I
bro.
don't care what
Lance is
I
worse.
don't want a
That's
man
not funny.
untying my shoelaces either.
That's
Nah,
not
Lance
funny.
is worse.
I'll survive. I'll survive.
Imagine it's like a man like wet spit.
You would survive, man.
Mad wet spit?
That's
Alan,
so
you're
bad.
right. That's enough to swing
Yeah.
on somebody. That's
That's
really
a whisper,
crazy.
yeah. Nah, that ain't
I see
it.
Alan already. Like someone whispering in his ear, he'd swing on them immediately. That's the
Nah,
Jersey
that ain't
way.
it.
That's the
Nah,
Jersey
nah,
way.
Don't do that.
That's
Painting
the Jersey
shorts.
Don't whisper in
way.
my ear. Blow in my
Painting
ear. That's
shorts.
crazy.
You
Not
invite.
in Dark City.
Oh, man. Oh my gosh,
But with all that, yo,
crazy.
welcome to Fast
Oh,
Breaks
man.
presented by the Soapbox. I am your host, Andre Auger. You can follow me on IG at KingAndre007. On my right, we got the man Nomad. Please introduce yourself, good sir.
Well, I'm Nomad, like you just said.
I am no man.
I guess. Introduce me, and then I gotta introduce myself.
You gotta tell the people. You have your
low-key
IG, all
underscore
that.
JD. Low-key underscore JD. That's where you can find me, man.
You got no
Don't
plugs
look
this
for me
week for
too hard.
music?
Man, just I'm working in other capacities.
Word. All right. Next up, we got Al DDA, the Prince of New Jersey. What's up, bro?
That's a fact. You're,
Favorite
you
zone.
just said my name, so y'all can just follow that. Al_DDA.
I gotta stop saying introduce yourself when I'm doing the introductions.
It's a
Hey, yo,
fact.
Paul, just read your IG off to people. This is Paul Robinson.
At PRR1995. At PRR1995 plus on Twitter.
And the Soapbox on everything.
No.
What do you mean, no?
At
Oh, the Soapbox SB. Sorry.
SB.
SB on
What does the
everything.
SB
On-
stand for?
The Soapbox, twice. Just so people get confused, they know what they're really following.
Hey, I wasn't gonna say that, but let's go with that. I like that. I like
They
that.
know what it is, man. They know
Oh
what it is.
no.
What's up? But thank you
crazy.
for joining us for this episode. And we have a hell of an episode in store for y'all. Because we are talking about super teams versus successful teams. And yes, there is without a doubt a difference. Word to Steven Jackson, who doesn't know. Next up, after that,
Started off hot.
That man comments on everything, bro. So you better be
You
Started off hot.
You want
Oh,
all the
Comments on me?
smoke? You want all the smoke?
oh, that.
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
Wait, what?
Oh.
What?
Oh.
It's a fact. I want all the smoke.
Shout out
That's
Matt
Matic.
Barnes.
Shout out Matt Barnes. I mess with you, bro.
Not Steven Jackson.
Shout out. Listen, man. I don't know that man like that. But Matt Barnes, he did some good things for the Clippers. That's all I know.
That's a fact. He did. The man
What
did
you
a
know
lot.
about that? What you know
We
about that, man?
We need
I'm a fan of the NBA, as
Right.
y'all love to tell me.
Right.
the
Matt
logo.
Barnes, too.
But we're also going to be talking about free agency because the Lakers have put,
USA.
and it actually ties in. It actually ties in because some are saying what the Lakers have done together is put together a super team. There are other moves that happen.
Oh man.
Honestly, it kind of seems like fraud what the Lakers did because they're paying 7 guys $15 million. I'm not sure how that mathematically.
Low-key.
no, that mathematically works.
Tampering.
But they want to investigate the Miami Heat.
That's a
And the
fact.
Pelicans, man.
That's a
Tampering.
fact. Talking about Kyle
Bulls.
Lowry. Get the hell out of here.
Pelicans. Oh,
Pelicans.
gosh.
What do?
They just they got to be a scapegoat for somebody, man. You know what I'm saying?
They let go
The
of
Lakers don't know what's
Lonzo
going
and
on.
Steven Adams. That's a bad. Well, we'll see what they do.
I got Jonas Valanciunas, man.
Ooh. Oh, they do. You're right.
Yeah, man.
You're right.
That's a
That man's
fact.
nice.
Man's gonna do some interior post hooks.
That's a
They
fact.
don't know about that anymore.
They don't know about that. They don't know about real basketball. These kids are watching. Oh, actually, I got a PSA. For before we go into the episode. I'm gonna tell y'all one thing. If you are on IG or TikTok and you see these people making these videos and saying IG refs or TikTok refs, is this a travel? The answer is yes. Before you even watch the video, the answer is yes. They don't know how to play basketball.
always a travel.
It's always a travel.
Just say your dad would not let you be a
Wait.
ballerina. Just say that. Just start off there, bro. And it's okay.
So somebody-
it's really okay. No, I'm dead ass.
If somebody does those moves to you in the park, are you gonna call travel?
This is wild to me.
If somebody does that move to you in the park, are you gonna call travel?
Hell yes. Give me the ball, bro.
I'm not even calling the travel. I'm walking off the court.
Give me the ball. That's a travel.
This is
I don't
the
think
type of
anybody's
basketball you
gonna
don't play
call
over here. No, I'm going
That's
back.
crazy. That's crazy. I must be in Jersey.
It's
That's
about
crazy.
mob mentality. It's about
Wait, what?
you don't believe me. We need more people.
What did he say?
What
I
did
said I
he
must
say?
be in Jersey. That's crazy.
Nah, you bugging. Does that man look like he's from Jersey?
Now, for real, you'd
That must
probably be
be
in Long
okay.
Island. I'm not kidding.
Nah,
You'd
that must
probably
be
be in
okay,
Long Island to
Kevin.
see some nonsense like that happen. Pull up in Smithtown and people be doing this.
The thing is, like
Hey,
that
man.
guy.
Wait, all in Smithtown.
Where the hell is Smithtown?
Well, this is the first time I've ever heard of this place.
Where the hell is Smithtown?
I've
Actually,
heard about Levinstown.
I know some crazy things about Smithtown.
You know, some crazy. There's a lot of crazy stuff that you should know about Smithtown. I'm not gonna repeat it on this episode.
Man,
Oh man,
God bless Smithtown. That's
This
all
is-
I
God
can say.
bless him.
God
too
bless
much
America.
Long Island talk for me.
It's a
Hey,
fact.
man. Strong
Talking about these
Island.
travels. I'm sorry,
Yo,
y'all.
we
This is something I've been building.
Yo, we
Fans of
tripping wearing that shirt.
the episode. I've just been building this up. I've been seeing a lot of stuff in here. So, some GOYs. That man doesn't know how to play the game, but just shoots crazy. I'm shouting at everybody today. Who else needs?
Oh
Kendrick
my
Perkins.
gosh.
It's just crazy. I'll shout at everybody.
That man
I'll
would
shout
cross
out
you up.
everybody.
This man is on.
That man would cross you up.
Who?
GOYs.
That man will travel 17 times.
That man would
and then
cross
shoot the
himself
ball.
up and cross you up at the same
That's
time.
a fact.
Oh, that
He
is a
probably
fact.
would.
That is a fact.
That man will fall and just launch it.
And it would go in too.
That probably would.
That's the thing. You could be angry at these young cats, but they know how to hit you with
They
a
know how to
step
shoot.
back.
They know how to shoot. They got one move. It's the same move, but they don't
Man.
know how to do it.
I got a kid at my job I play ball with every single day, man. He's a youngin'. He plays ball for my high school that I went to. He's a freshman or whatever. And this guy will have the wide open lane to drive the basketball every single time. He does a Steph Curry behind the back dribble to get back to the 3-point line, bricks the three. And I yell at him every single time. Yes,
He's on the team.
it's a brick, man.
He's on the real team doing that.
I ask him, why do you do this, man? Why don't you just score the points? He says, because it's fun. It's fun. He says, it's fun. I just want to cross this guy up. It's fun.
That's the funniest thing to me. But does he do this in real games?
I need to know. That's what I need.
That's a real question. That's
Listen,
a real
I don't
question.
know, man. I don't know, man. I'm not trying to watch any of his.
Nah,
footage.
go to his games.
It's one thing if he doesn't pick up.
I'm not trying to watch any of his footage, man.
Go to his
That
games.
sounds crazy.
We need confirmation. You gotta see what the youth are doing. Man.
Tell him he's sponsored by
Sounds
Fast Breaks if he's not doing that. If he's doing what he's supposed to do, he can be sponsored by us. If he's not doing what he's supposed to do, he's sponsored by GOY.
If he come on as a guest, we need to ask
That's all
him.
TikTokers.
Yeah, that'd be kind of cool though. Getting some high school bowlers on.
Right?
No, I don't want to.
Kind of like that. I kind of like that idea.
I don't want to hear from them.
Talk.
Talking about Trey Young and Luca. Hey, who's MJ?
That's who
Oh,
on the
man.
podcast.
Oh man.
Who's Wilt?
Who's MJ?
Who's Bill Russell? I never heard of them. That's what they be
We don't
saying.
even talk about them like that. on this
Those are old
podcast.
heads.
They didn't even know who Bill. They don't know Bill
We
Walton.
know, but we know who they
They know
are.
about
Do we
this
not-
jersey.
they- Do we all know who they are, right?
Come on,
We
man.
all know the game.
They
We all
don't
They
know.
know about this
basketball?
jersey. Do they know who wore this,
Bro,
man?
it's blurred out. I'm sorry. You got to switch
on,
that
man.
off.
Come on, man.
I still can't see
That
it.
should be enough. That
Bro,
should be
I see.
enough.
Robert Parrish. They don't know.
No,
about that.
man, this ain't no Robert Parrish, man. This is
I
the
can't
GOAT.
see that, bro.
Yeah, we can't
The
really see
GOAT.
that.
Come on, man.
Oh, nah!
Oh, okay.
Minor
Come back
league.
like Jordan
Okay,
wearing the
okay.
Finally.
It ain't to play games with you. It's to aim at you, probably maim you. If I owe you, I'm blowing you to smithereens.
Where'd you get that from?
Minor.
Just
Yeah,
take one
that's
for
a
your
fact.
team. Come on, man.
You better
LA Express.
hey, you better hide that jersey before Fabulous takes it.
Oh,
You know, man, those old school
man.
jerseys, man.
That was gonna be lurking. Probably.
I was there. Oh, that's a nice jersey there. You
Come on.
It'd be a shame if somewhere happens to that jersey.
Crazy.
In
Rare
jersey, that's crazy.
collectible.
Bad, man.
Oh man,
Time to take the jerseys off and wear some shirts.
That's
man.
crazy, man.
You gotta wear some
Oh,
shirts, Fab.
Wear some shirts, Fab.
Wear a
Come on,
button
bro.
down.
Nah, he's not on that. He's not on that, bro.
Wear a polo, man.
oh
Come on,
man,
man.
a suit.
All right, so what are we talking about?
But
man?
I meant to
Talking
ask,
about a lot of
super teams, right?
malarkey.
This all got sparked because Steven Jackson was saying Giannis is on a super team. And I need y'all to know the difference because everybody on this panel knows
Boy, ain't
it.
no way, boy.
Hmm?
So boy, ain't no way, boy.
Boy, ain't no way, boy. Boy, ain't no way, boy. All right, listen. Being a successful team doesn't make you a super team. Okay? The Bucks are not a super team. The 2011 Dallas Mavericks were not a super team. The 2010 Lakers were not a super team. There are a lot of successful teams that were not super teams. Why? Because a super team is comprised of multiple superstars, right? Thus the super. I know it's hard to follow, but thus the super. And that's what makes it a super team. The Miami Heat with LeBron, D. Wade, and Chris Bosh, that's a super team. The Golden State Warriors with KD, with Steph Curry, with Klay Thompson, that is a super team.
So
what we're seeing right
How many
now,
superstars do you need?
that's actually a great question.
In my opinion, I think three.
I say three.
But here's my question though. I'm
Yeah.
not even saying I disagree or agree yet. But here's the question. Does it really matter if it's classified as super team or not? Because what if a team strikes gold and drafts what would end up being 3, 4, 5 superstars?
Yeah, but when does that? I mean,
Like the Oklahoma City Thunder.
right. But that was
not even then, because they didn't
Right.
all become superstars on the Thunder.
There you go. That actually.
No, but
answers
there
the
are
question.
times when that actually could happen.
Like when?
When-
Argument could be made. The Golden State Warriors, they drafted all of them, but Stephen Curry, elite, all-time great. Clay, low-key, all-time great.
Not Loki. All-time great.
Well, all-time great shooter.
Okay.
Draymond at his peak was one of the best power forwards in the NBA.
That's really crazy. That Draymond's peak lasted 35 seconds.
Oh gosh. This man is on one today.
But it's not kicking
Draymond
last
Green,
forever.
congratulations on the Team USA gold, man.
That's a fact.
Hey, that's
Not
crazy.
gonna slander
Team
that,
USA
man.
won.
Not
That's
gonna
crazy.
slander that, man. Not about to slander that.
When,
Man.
That's crazy.
when was Draymond the best power?
That man is going to respond to you. He's been responding to all these people.
You said when was Draymond the best power forward?
He was never the best power forward in the league.
He
I'm
was
gonna
up.
say that right now.
He was up there at one point.
He was up there.
He was up there. I mean, he wasn't Kevin Love, but even then, Kevin Love.
Love.
I would have taken Draymond Green over Kevin Love.
Nah, I would have taken Blake
wow,
over
man.
Draymond Green.
Oh,
Y'all
God.
I would have. Listen. Kevin Love. All right. When
Griffin.
Kevin Love and Blake
Marcus
Griffin.
Aldridge.
Hold on. Nah, not at that time. Not in 2016. Kevin Love and Blake Griffin, when they left their teams, their careers went down. But Blake Griffin left later than Kevin Love.
That's a fact.
Remember, Blake Griffin was still elite.
He was
Every
elite
second
in
he played on the
Detroit.
Clippers, he was still elite.
He was elite in Detroit that
He
first
was
year.
okay. He was, yeah,
He was an MVP candidate in Detroit.
Fact, man.
MVP candidate.
Was he?
Yes.
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 Candidate.
Yes, he
man.
was. That
Yeah.
first year in
I'm
Detroit, he
not
was an
sorry, I'm
MVP
not here.
candidate.
It doesn't matter if you buy it. It's a fact.
No,
It doesn't matter if you hear it or not. It's a
No.
fact.
Wait.
No.
MVP
No.
candidate. What number was he?
It's a fact.
No.
He was like number 4 or 5.
Wow.
No.
Wow.
You can't be an
He didn't make
MVP
it into the
candidate
top
and your
3.
team is that trash.
It
That
doesn't
happened
matter.
this year with Steph Curry. What are you
It's a
talking
fact.
about?
You just got bagged.
Steph Curry. The Pistons were like the bottom 5 of the.
No, they were not. They were number 9.
No, I think
bro.
I'm pretty. No, I think the year you're talking about they made the playoffs because they got swept by the Bucks.
Oh yeah, they
It's a
did.
fact.
Yes, they did. I'm sorry. They were 8. They were 8.
and Blake Griffin got injured, so they made the.
Blake Griffin didn't play nice enough to be an MVP candidate.
Yeah, I don't think
On a bad team, you got to do more on a bad team. That like he was nice, and if he was on a decent team, then yes. But on a bad team, you can't just
That
be
man
nice.
should have been.
You got to be
traded
historic.
High
You
key,
can't,
that man.
yeah.
That man should have been traded to the Knicks back then. That
Oh,
would have been
gosh.
great.
That's what
No. Like
I just want to see everybody just moving.
I don't want to
around.
see everybody. I don't want to see. I don't
He's
know
here
how
for
I
the
feel about
drama.
Kemba
My
on the
league.
Knicks, but
Oh,
that's a
my
different
gosh.
story. That's a different story. I don't know how I feel about that.
Kemba Walker.
What do you
I
care
don't know how
about
I
the
feel
Knicks,
about that.
man?
We'll talk about that in free
That's a
agency. We'll
fact,
talk-
though.
We're gonna leave that.
Who
We're gonna
cares?
leave that for the free agency session. But I want to go back to talking about super teams. No, hold up. I want to go back to going to super teams because you were bringing up an interesting point. What if you not accidentally, but what if you purposely draft and they all end up being superstars? But we haven't
Sometimes
seen that happen.
Sometimes
Not
it's
at the
an
same
accident.
time. Not at the same time. Maybe 1 or 2 guys like Clay and Steph, right? Or maybe 1 or 2 guys, arguably Blake and DeAndre Jordan at the time, who was an elite defender. But you never see a real super team come out of it until that free agent
you
comes out.
count DeAndre Jordan as a superstar?
At that
At the time,
yes.
he was. At
Yes.
the time, yeah.
Yes.
At the time, he was the second best
So,
center in the
man.
league.
If not the best, it was tied. Him and Dwight.
Dwight, yeah.
Depending on the year.
Oh,
I mean, listen. What
People
he
forgot
did.
about him.
The impact that he had on the game was superstar-ish. It really was. It was very
Bro,
superstar.
he was getting rebounds and locking up people when they came in the paint.
It's a
That
fact.
was literally the whole game.
So
And then catching
is
alley.
Rudy Gobert
For me to say.
superstar right now?
He could
I
be.
don't watch that, man.
Is Rudy Gobert as effective as DeAndre was
No.
in his prime?
I don't
No,
know.
because
but
if
would
like
you consider him a
here's
superstar
here's the
right now?
difference. Here's the difference, and
Not
it's
as much of
actually
an offensive
it's a
player.
wild thing, but it really is a difference. When Rudy Gobert averages, he's been leading the league in blocks every year, and you never notice. You never notice when DeAndre Jordan lost that. Like you feel it in your soul, bro.
Well, it's
Something
more
different
glamorous.
happens.
It's more glamorous.
Something different happens, and I don't know how
It's
to.
also
explain it,
like
but that's really
LA
what it is.
versus Utah. You know what I mean?
Yeah, man.
It's
That's
LA,
really what it
Utah.
is. It's the Marcus, bro.
It's more highlights.
There's something different about a DeAndre Jordan block versus a Rudy Gobert block.
I will
What's your
say
Where you'll
favorite
look at
DeAndre
DeAndre
Jordan
Jordan doing the exact
Wait,
same
hold on.
things, but you'll
Answer that
say
question, Andre.
What's your
What?
favorite DeAndre Jordan block?
my favorite DeAndre Jordan block.
Yes.
I don't even know. Because right now, all I'm thinking about is that one alley oop he had over.
Yeah, that's all I'm thinking about right now, Brandon.
Thinking about a
That's
man
like
dunking
his-
on Brandon Knight.
Brandon Knight. Yeah.
Oh man.
That was disgusting.
Oh man, that was illegal.
That was disgusting. No, but he had a number of great defensive plays. That was his whole game.
Offensively, he was better than Rudy Gobert. I'll say that.
I think the
Yeah.
difference is that he knew when to cut to the basket, and Chris Paul knew when to throw it.
That's a
And
fact.
and that sounds very simple, but
No, it's
as a
not.
point
It
guard,
is and
Simple
it's
game.
not.
It's a simple game.
it's
It is and
not
it's
that-
not. And this is why I
It comes
was
down to
bringing up the
decision-making.
YouTubers and all that earlier, because it is simple, right? But in today's game, it's not as simple. You're not getting. Look, you have a lot of people who are playing point guards who aren't point guards. They're 6'3" shooters, assassins, people that come up to pull up the three. They'll come up to, but you don't have straight up facilitators. That's why Chris Paul is so like unique in that sense, and like why he's so revered, because people aren't doing what he's doing, where he's really setting up teammates consistently every night. He is facilitating offense. He's not just shooting and creating offense for himself. He's making
Slash.
everybody around him nice. LeBron James is the same way. Russ is the same way. These guys are, there's less of them. You don't see a lot of them. That's why Luka is so revered as well. Because when Luka steps on the court, he's getting 8 assists and he's setting up everybody. These bum players
Luka
are now getting points around him.
Luka dropping like 40 or 50.
Luka's doing a step.
Luka's
back
dropping
three,
40
man.
or 50 and getting 10 assists.
Yeah, but so was James Harden. Like, is it
James Harden's a little different, even though he was one of the
Eh,
greatest
is it
facilitators of the
really?
game.
That time, man.
Is it really?
He's a little different. He's a little different.
Luka
I don't
passes the
know,
ball when he
man.
has to, not when he should.
He's learning. He's young. That's the thing. He's learning.
What?
And he's still
But that goes against your point, though.
no, doesn't it? Because he's
He's not
still
a
like
natural
22 and he's getting 10 assists a game. They're so
He's
close like
supposed to do
that.
that,
So
man.
he's creating
I
offense.
hate when people use age as a qualifier.
It's a real qualifier. I don't know.
I
why
don't.
people
I don't
it's
think
not.
so. Now I don't think.
Why
so.
would it not be? Why would it not be? This
I
is
think-
a game
I
about
think-
experience.
I think no. It's a
They
game.
don't do that
of
for
skill.
Ben Simmons.
It's a game of skill and
Ben
experience.
Simmons, no,
brings
I'll
more
tell
skill.
you. Look, the more skillful you are, like you learn as the game goes on. That's why we all love Giannis so much. This man came in and people thought he was a bum. People thought he was a bum. That man is legitimately the best player in the league right now. People thought he was a bum. He was the most improved player. When you're the most improved player, that means at one point or another, people thought you were a bum and you proved them wrong. That's really crazy to me.
or close to it, bum. You know,
Or close to a bum.
you're
Ben
not
Simmons could
right.
never. Ben Simmons ain't got the worth ethic. The thing is, Giannis learned as
This
he
man's
went
rookie of the
forward.
year.
Giannis learned, and no, I'm gonna say this straight up. Ben Simmons is a bum, bro.
Wow.
Ben Simmons is a bum.
Wow.
Oh
That's
man.
Wow,
really-
man. Wow.
Ben
man.
Simmons,
He's on one to die.
he thinks
Wow.
it's gonna change. I've never seen this. Imagine being 6'10" and you could violate any point guard that's guarding you, and you're airballing layups. Never seen it in my life, man. I've never seen it in my life. Not even attempting a shot. Not even. Who's guarding you? Who's guarding you on the perimeter? Who's scaring you, Ben?
Oh man.
I really want to know who's scaring you, Ben.
Who's scaring you?
This is OD.
Shout out
Yeah.
RDC World, man.
That's crazy, man. No, but I'm serious. This is a game of learning and skill, and age is a qualifier, right? So going backwards, to the whole talk, right? Super teams, successful teams, all of that. Giannis makes his team successful, but they are not a super team because there's arguably not a second, there's arguably not a third superstar on that team. It is him with great teammates, right? Very, very good teammates that he can facilitate with.
What is
that
Chris
are
Middleton?
going with him? But he's
Chris
the only
Middleton at the
superstar that-
all-star level type player.
Chris
Say it
Middleton.
again?
Chris Middleton, like the
Chris
all-star
Middleton,
level.
yeah. Drew Holiday every year is an all-star, but nobody recognizes it.
I'm
But that's
calling Chris Middleton a star.
That boy.
I feel like it's the same thing.
Nah, not necessarily because
No, it's not. I
Are
agree.
all-
with you. They're different.
all star. You have
All-star is a
all-star.
qualifier. You can be an
Is Jimmy
all-star, not
Butler
a
a superstar?
star.
I don't know. I don't know about him. He
I
could
don't know how
be.
to answer that.
He could be. I don't know.
Is Anthony
I'm gonna
Davis
call him a
a
superstar.
You said who? You said hold on. Who's that? Who know
Anthony
that?
Davis a superstar?
Alan, I'm gonna let you
Alan.
take care of that. Alan, take
Alan.
care of that. Alan,
Yes,
get
he's
that
a
man.
superstar. That's why I'm like, act like one. Just act like a son.
That sounds
Oh my
crazy.
god, just act like a superstar.
Alan said, "Boy, I see
Oh
you.
my
You're
God.
soft. You're soft, boy."
Oh man,
Oh.
I would call Jimmy Butler a superstar.
I'm not mad at that. I don't know. I think Jimmy Butler just had a down year last year. But here's
Bro,
the thing too.
He got COVID. Let that man live.
Yeah, that's a fact. That's a fact. But no, the trajectory matters because if you have a
That's a
good
fact.
year, then a down year, then a good year, then a down year,
That's
people are not going to call you exactly. They're not going to call you superstar because they feel that you just have good years sometimes and you can't be dependent on. You know what I mean? But if you have a few bad years and then a good one, and then another good one, people are going to think that's going to continue. So people might call you a superstar because they see you progressing in the right direction. You understand?
I think one thing about this like new generation of superstars is that I think it's harder for people who live in like mid-range slashing. Like they're kind of good at shooting. They're pretty good at like mid-range shooting. Like I guess DeMar DeRozan at his peak, at his prime.
I was gonna say, do you have a current example? Because I can't think of anybody.
Like a DeMar DeRozan.
Isn't that every?
But DeMar DeRozan's like a little old school.
That's every forward.
Like a new school example.
That's every Kawhi.
Durant,
Kawhi is like really the anomaly to me because he can finish so well inside. Like, and I think that's actually underrated part of his game. But
low key,
I think
is it
like
underrated?
a
Because
lot
I've
of
seen
these
this man yam on
slashers.
people.
Well, that's a fact. But people always talk about how crazy he is with his fadeaways and his mid range and whatnot. But like the point I'm making is that I think it's harder for people who score in that kind of way, like a DeMar DeRozan type, to be a superstar because the other superstars in the league are shooting either very, very well inside or very, very well outside. Like Steph is crazy outside, but then you have like Embiid and Giannis who are crazy on the interior.
Wait a second. DeMar wasn't shooting well inside at his peak.
No, he was.
Yes, he was, but he's slashing. He's like, and
was
like,
it Candace Parker that said he could have been he's a top 10 player in the 1990s?
Yeah,
crazy along
that's the 90s. Yeah, but I think like when you go against, if right now you go against, like Donovan Mitchell is probably the closest thing I can think to that type that I'm thinking of.
He shoots a lot of
Donovan Mitchell.
And he can shoot a lot though. He can shoot a lot, but he shoots very well though. But he can score. People say he plays like D Wade, so that has to say something about his
shots. Yeah,
with his 3-point shooting.
I don't know. I
like
disagree.
when you go against a person who is like very dominant inside or outside, I think it's very hard for those mid-range people to be better than them, to be a better superstar.
And it depends on the role that your team gives you. Because every superstar over the height of 6'3" has an elite mid-range and inside game. But you have to be able to get the ball to actually showcase that. So for example, a guy like RJ Barrett, right? This year he started off, first of all year they use him as a spot-up shooter, and that's not his strength.
That's not his strength at all. I don't know why they're him.
But it worked though. It worked though because after a while he started shooting like he was one of the best shooters in the NBA at his position. And the improvement that he made from the beginning of the year to the second half of the year was ridiculous. He ended up shooting like 40% from three or near it. And he started off the year like 0 for 21 from three. Why did he start off like that? Because that's not really his game like that. But Julius Randle was there, and his main game the inside game too. So in order to complement him, which is why I don't think the Lakers will work with LeBron and Westbrook. But anyway, in order to complement Julius Randle, RJ Barrett had to develop that 3-point shot.
Yeah.
But if he was able to have the ball in the spots where he feels the most comfortable, maybe he would have looked even better than he did.
And that's exactly
why what I'm saying? It depends on the role that you get. And most superstars that are forwards and big guards, they have the opportunity to showcase that mid-range game, and they have it.
And we're going to touch upon that later again, but that's specifically why I don't think Kemba's going to work in New York. But we shall see.
Okay, all right. You're going to talk about that later.
We'll talk about it. But honestly, like, I just don't see him as a facilitator, man, because that's not his game.
We don't need that.
You don't need that? You need somebody, as you just explained, you specifically need that in New York.
No, we don't. I said Julius Randle was
he's the man, but look, when you're in the playoffs, right? When you're in the playoffs and no one's facilitating for you,
that wasn't our issue.
That's one of the issues.
That wasn't our issue. Our issue was Julius Randle choked. That was our issue.
That's a big issue.
He can't play like trash. Bro, period. It's really that simple.
I'm sorry.
He cannot play like trash.
If you had Chris Paul on the Knicks, they would have gone just as far.
Chris Paul wasn't going to be facilitating.
Wait.
I really mean that. If Chris
wait. Say that again.
If Chris Paul was on the Knicks, they would have gone just as far as the
Suns.
Nah.
Wait.
I 100% mean that.
As the
100%.
Suns did?
Yes.
As the Suns?
No. Yes.
No.
100%.
Who was his Devin Booker on the Knicks? Julius Randle?
Julius Randle and RJ Barrett. Yes.
Julius Randle choked.
Julius choked because he's not ready to be a superstar.
No,
he's not ready to be a superstar. That's what it is. It's his first playoff. He's not ready to be a superstar. Chris Paul takes that alleviation away from you, man.
You know why I like him? All right, we're getting away from the topic. So
we are getting away from it. I'm sorry. That's just my take. That's just my take. But
come on, moderator.
Going on the super team route, because you mentioned the Lakers not working. I 100% see them working. 100%. Because they are just you have a collective. Huh?
It's still not the topic.
No, because we're talking about super teams, and the Lakers are definitively a super team right now.
Are they?
They definitely are.
I would call them
a retirement home.
That's what I'm calling them.
I'm calling them. Say that again.
I'm calling them a super team. Y'all are bugging. Y'all are bugging.
The Los Angeles retired.
The big three.
LeBron James.
The big threes. The big three is a nice league, though. I like the big three.
Come on, man. Joe Johnson's going crazy in there.
Oh, man. Still?
No, but I'm going to say this. Look, people be hating on Russ.
Nate Robinson.
Russ is still a superstar. Carmelo Anthony he's still better than most players. I would rank. I would rank Carmelo Anthony.
He said Carmelo Anthony.
Carmelo Anthony is still better than most players in this league.
Respect.
Just say Melo, man.
And most players in the league.
The most players in this league.
I don't.
Aside from superstars, if you put him compared to regular role players, he's better than most role players.
I'm not gonna hold you. I did not watch the Blazers that much last year.
He was.
I watched him in the bubble
2 years in a row.
He was very good on the Blazers his first year. Was he very good last year? Didn't he have a dip in numbers last year?
I just remember. Listen, I know that man.
You see, we don't know. We don't know. We're just saying that because it's Carmelo Anthony.
Speculation.
No, I'll pull up his numbers right now.
Speculation.
I'll pull up his numbers right now.
Yeah, thank you, host.
I don't want to see no OKC numbers.
He wasn't that bad in OKC either. As a third-rate star, he was averaging like 16 points a game. That's not bad.
I could see the Lakers having the same success as OKC that year.
Melo said,
"I could see that
not having a championship keeps him up at night."
Yes,
and he's not wrong for that.
What are your thoughts on that?
Hey, man,
do you support that man going to get his ring? You feel like
at this point in his career, yeah.
I don't even think he's gonna get the ring.
Doing whatever
not on
it takes possible. What if they all went to the Nets though? And it was just like, yo,
wait, who's
Russell Westbrook,
Melo,
the ones who need a ring.
Right. I said Melo is like different. Like Melo at this point in his career is like straight role player.
But they both need a ring though.
Huh?
They both need a ring though. That's why they went out here.
But it's different. You can't compare Russ and Melo. Melo's at this point strictly a role player.
I'm not talking about their talent. I'm just saying they need a ring.
But you're asking. But what was your question? You asked me like if you're cool with certain players.
If instead of them going to the Lakers, they went to the Nets, and it looked like there was a better, like that situation looked like it was more overpowered than the Lakers look right now. Would you think that? Would you think
with
like
the Nets
rim
roster
chasing?
being exactly how like they keep all the same players?
Mm-hmm.
No, that would look crazy for Russ at least, but for Melo, I would understand it more. He's a
But you think it would look crazy for Russ to go to the?
Yeah,
That's a fact. That's a fact. That's a fact.
like if I'm taking away
That's
like
a fact.
fit and everything, I'm just
I think he would have worked
stars, like,
really well in the Nets as well.
playing super teams. That's crazy.
You think he would work everywhere?
You think he would work better on the Nets?
You think he would work everywhere?
Yeah, I do,
with
actually.
Kevin Durant.
I'm stripping away like the like fit and everything. I'm just thinking about like what we're talking about super teams. That would be crazy for like Russ.
Mm-hmm. But to answer the question about Melo, he was averaging 13 and a half last season.
It's not.
No, one at a time. One at a time. One at a time.
It's a super team. Like you're going to build a super team. Now you're facing off against another super team. Now you're just stacking an already made super team. That's crazy.
Yeah, so last year, did you think the Nets were better than the Lakers?
Last year, yeah. I did. Yeah. I thought Nets was going to win the chip.
I did. Very disappointed. I blame Kyrie a little bit.
You didn't say it.
I blame Kyrie a little bit, but I blame James Harden the most. James Harden making that stupid ass pass. That was silly.
Hey.
What?
Keep it PG, man.
No. That was a stupid ass pass.
Oh my God.
He should have kept that. He should have put that somewhere else.
I don't think with LeBron and just Anthony Davis that the Lakers are a super team.
That's correct. But with Russell Westbrook, they are a super team.
Yeah.
I think
the thing is that people they let their hate for Russell Westbrook like negate the fact that he's been taking bum teams to the playoffs, and this man is still averaging like 25, 10, and 10. He will dominate every point guard.
That's the whole point.
That's the whole Beal a bum?
No, he wasn't a bum at all, but the team was bummish.
But the whole point is you eat on bad teams.
But he wasn't peaking. He was doing the same thing in Oklahoma City. He was doing the same thing in Houston. This man has had the same numbers for the last 10 years, man.
That's the argument. But you can't say
playoffs.
But that's the next thing too. But you can't say he's scoring on bad teams like that's something impressive. That's not impressive. If you know basketball, that's not impressive at all. That shouldn't even be a set.
What's impressive is that these teams were not touching the playoffs without him, as you can see, right?
Yeah, but
Oklahoma City.
But they didn't.
That's not saying when they touched the playoffs,
they just put their toe in. With him, they didn't do nothing in the playoffs.
You're not
all
saying
this crazy stuff.
The only thing that's impressive is the triple doubles. That's literally it. And at this point, I think we got to reevaluate the triple double in the NBA. But that's another conversation. Yes,
what's the reevaluation to be had?
Like I get told I'm hating on Russ, but when I saw him doing these triple doubles, I wanted him to go to the Western Conference Finals. I expect that if you're doing all that.
When was he going to do that? When LeBron was like running the West with the Lakers, or
running the West with the Lakers?
That during the bubble year, that's exactly what he was doing because it was in the bubble.
Wait, what?
He's only been there like what? This is his third year.
3 years. Yeah. This is year 4, I think.
Nah, I think this is year 3.
This is year 4. Last year was year 3. The year before when he won
his triple double stuff.
And first year he got hurt when he got the groin injury.
It's year 3. This is year 3 coming.
This is year 4. First year, no AD. Second year, him and AD. Third year, him and AD, but AD's injured. This is year 4.
Wait a second.
Oh, you might be right.
No, I am 100% right.
Wait a second.
This is
the bubble year. The bubble year was last
year 2. Yes,
this man is correct. He's been
that was him and AD's first year together.
Yes.
Wait, you're not right. So
that's what I'm saying. No,
AD with AD.
Wait. No AD and no LeBron. LeBron wasn't okay. He was there without LeBron.
You're right.
What?
Mm-hmm.
How is LeBron?
Oh, I think you know what you're messing up. You're forgetting that the bubble year was combined with that same.
No, it wasn't.
No. I think he has it right.
That's back when people were saying Kuzma was his number 2, was the Robin to his Batman and all that. And people were bugging out on Kuzma.
People were saying that last year too, though.
And
in the
nothing
bubble
happened. And he had that terrible crotch injury that cost him 27 games or something crazy like that. And then they didn't make the playoffs, right? So people try to erase that out of the main.
It's LeBron by himself.
It was a groin injury.
LeBron AD in the bubble year.
Yes.
This past year.
Yes.
That's 3 years.
This is year 4.
Oh.
Talking about the Lakers so much,
man.
So
wait a second. The Lakers were running the West
in the bubble year.
That's 1 year. You can't talk about because we got to. He's talking about his career, Westbrook's career. You can't talk about the Lakers because the Lakers haven't had an impact on Russell Westbrook's career like that.
But you kind of cut me off because you were figuring out the math.
Okay, go ahead.
Figured it out for you.
Go ahead.
What I was saying was, what year were you going to let him do that? When Lakers were running it in the bubble year, when Steph Curry and the Warriors were running it for literally half a decade, or back when he was in Oklahoma City? Like
he should have been able to beat the Rockets. I think.
What year? Give me a year.
Any year.
Get any year.
As nice as he is, they should
by himself.
He should have been able
how many
to.
times did he play the Rockets?
He beat the Rockets a number of times when he had KD.
No, we're not talking about that.
I'm talking about him.
So after that, so those 5 years were, or the 3 years that KD.
When did they even play the
That's
Rockets?
only 3 years. That's only 3 years, man.
That's the whole point, though. That's Nomad's whole point. That they didn't even get to the Rockets because the Rockets were they had Chris Paul and James Harden.
You remember?
And hold on, and they worked well together. And Chris Paul was more of a point guard. Like he did what he needed to do to get there.
You forgot the fact that when
Russell Westbrook did have help, and he did not
help.
get there.
What help did he have?
Carmelo Anthony and Paul George.
You just told me that Carmelo Anthony was a bum at that point, and Paul George was.
I would never. Don't do that. Don't do that. No.
I was saying before.
No. I'm a real Knicks fan.
Tell us how you feel about Melo.
Don't do that.
Tell us how you feel about
I'm
Melo.
a real Knicks fan.
Is he a superstar or is he not a superstar?
He's old.
Whoa.
So was he old in 2016?
5 years ago, he was less old.
So he was averaging 16. Now he's averaging 13. Was he old then? What's the problem? I'm not understanding. Because he wasn't making a big impact. Paul George was injured when he got there. Paul George was injured the year before. And then he went to Houston.
So you're saying that the only reason they didn't get through... So wait, hold on. You telling me that he was never healthy when they were in the playoffs?
No. 2 years in a row, he wasn't healthy.
Wait, hold on. Didn't Paul George have a great playoff?
He had a great regular season.
Wait a second. When they... No. Yeah.
He had a great regular season.
Go ahead, Allan.
They had a great regular season. Then he had a shoulder injury, and then he flamed out in the playoffs against what was it, Utah, first year. And then he wasn't healthy in the playoffs.
He has never been.
He was
healthy.
Never healthy in the playoffs.
Not with Russ. No.
I'm trying to remember that first year. That first year,
they just didn't work together, and he had I think he had a shoulder or something like that. I think that's when it first started.
Wait. Let me ask you a question. Does Russell Westbrook bear any responsibility for them not working together?
Does he bear responsibility? Do I personally think so? Or
what I'm trying to say is I think they did work well together. It's just that.
I don't understand your question.
And
you said they didn't work well together.
Andre said
I didn't say
disagree with that.
I'm talking to Andre. You said they didn't work well together.
I said he was injured and they were figuring it out his first year.
You said they didn't work well together. You just said
I did not say that.
Run the tape.
Allan just said those words. I did not say those words.
No, you said that.
Run the tape.
No, Allan said that.
I didn't say that.
Run the
tape. You said that.
Underdog.
You said the first year with Carmelo and Paul George, they did not work well together.
Underdog.
Then hold on. Then I misspoke. Let me correct myself.
Okay.
Let me correct myself in.
Okay.
The first year they were together, they were trying to figure it out, but Paul George was dealing with injuries and Melo didn't know how to fit on the team yet. Second year, Melo's gone. They're doing great things. Paul George has an MVP season and then hurts his shoulder again. So they're completely injured, and he's running it again by himself. Next year, Russ is with Houston. James Harden is with him. Russ is still healthy, doing all the same things.
Russ was injured that year.
I'm sorry, you're right. Russ was injured that year, but he almost averaged a triple double.
With these guys,
James
Harden. This is a lot of injury talk.
Wait a second. The training staff.
Wait a second. It's a lot of.
These are with two different teams.
These
are with two different teams.
That is one common denominator. This is a lot of injury talk.
That's a lot of injuries. Yes.
Stop running at the basket so much.
But it's not Russ getting injured.
Calm
it's
down.
only 1 year Russ is getting injured.
Shoot the ball.
Okay. All right.
Listen. That year that Russ was with James Harden, Paul George was hitting the side of the backboard. So I don't want to hear about Russ. I don't want to hear about that, man. James Harden has been choking. He choked this year. He choked with the Rockets. He's been choking a lot.
Comparison is a thief of joy, man.
I'm just saying, man. Y'all want to talk about Russ outside of context.
I don't understand.
I
just don't understand.
When the numbers are brought to you, you come up
this
with all these
man
things.
Has been in the NBA since 2008.
Yes,
is nice enough to set records and break
He's
records.
been to the finals. Chris Paul just got to the finals this year.
Who was he playing with?
What do you mean?
Who was Russell Westbrook playing with?
That man, Chris Paul had
Russell Westbrook was the best. If you want to really talk about Russell Westbrook, was the biggest reason they didn't win the chip.
Refs were the biggest reason they didn't win the chip.
Refs? So that was refs. It's other people.
Wait.
The officiating.
Who? What year?
2012.
2012. When that young.
You tripping? He was the biggest reason. Are you kidding me?
Russell Westbrook. If you have to look at the team and how they played, Russell Westbrook. You forgot what Magic Johnson was saying about Russell Westbrook doing those five. I remember that. But he was right.
You're not going to sit here.
Wait. Was Magic Johnson right? Was Magic Johnson right
about Ben being the worst point guard ever?
Lakers Nation.
About how Russell Westbrook was playing as a point guard.
Lakers Nation, stand up.
Was he right? Yes or no? He said he wasn't playing like a point guard. He wasn't a good point guard.
Lakers Nation.
I mean, at the time, yeah, 2012.
Drop your thoughts in the comments.
So this is what I'm saying. But this is what I'm saying.
But you can't say like he was the biggest.
No, he's not the biggest.
No.
LeBron James was violating everybody.
Look. I'm not saying that they should. I'm not saying that they should have won. But it wasn't even a contest, and it's because of Russell Westbrook and James Harden or Russell Westbrook. KD was balling out.
You're bugging out. You're bugging out 100%.
100%. So it was a contest?
100%.
Oh my gosh!
It was not a contest, but my point is, it was.
You see what I'm saying? Even the guy on their side be saying, "No, wait, hold on, wait a second."
My point is, it was never gonna be. Like that's my point. Like he was amazing.
It never, but
for the record, he's still on my side in that case.
He's on your side, but listen. Russell Westbrook.
You just hate Russell Westbrook. Just say it, man. You don't like him.
Russell Westbrook has been in the league since 2008.
How long has Chris Paul been in the league? 2004. Just went to the finals.
And he's going to the finals. He's still playing at an elite level, at a championship level. No, he's not.
Yes, he is.
No, he's not. So why is he? He's not getting out of the. You want to blame everybody else but him?
Wait, Paul. Do you feel the same way about James Harden?
I think that the way the coach wanted him to play.
Oh, wow. So now it's everybody else.
No, you can't. No, you can't. Russell Westbrook has had multiple coaches. Russell Westbrook has had multiple coaches. Russell Westbrook has had multiple coaches. James Harden for the past 5 years had one guy that wanted him. Well, two guys, Daryl Morey and D'Antoni, who wanted him to dribble like crazy.
Before that,
James Harden was balling out this year.
He was balling out until that last play. He got injured, balling out. James Harden's also very injury prone. Nobody talks about these things. Because you can't talk about these things if you want to continue to perpetuate the fact that Russ is whack, like what you guys do. When you start putting in context, you see the bigger picture.
There's no accountability for Russell Westbrook with y'all. There's none. There's one common denominator in every situation Russell Westbrook has been in. And when you look at the way he plays,
wait, that sounds crazy.
It's not winning basketball. He has glaring deficiencies.
What's your excuse for James Harden? Same situations. He's clearly a better player. Still hasn't touched the finals since he's been.
He's clearly a better player.
That's what you're making it sound like.
I don't know if he's clearly a better player. I know he's a better scorer, but I don't know.
I think they both have different deficiencies that prevent them from.
Paul George hasn't touched the playoffs.
Paul George is not in the same class.
I'm sorry, hasn't touched the finals. Sorry,
he's not in the same class as them. Russell
Westbrook
is supposed to be a leader. He's supposed to be like an all-time great, like a top 10 player. Multiple MVPs.
Top 10 player. You can't be a top 10 player without
expectations. Yes, you can.
Without a chip, name one top 10 player without a chip.
Wait, hold on. Curry has a chip. KD has a chip. LeBron has a chip.
Are you talking about top 10 ever or top 10 in the league?
In the league. Okay. I'm talking about in the league today.
Okay. All right.
He's supposed to be a top 10 player, and he doesn't get out of the first round. At least, and he's had talent. At least James Harden got
he was out of the first round last year. He was in the second round. What are you talking about?
Second round win.
In the bubble. He was in the second round. Instantly, your point is
Who they play? The
Lakers. They beat
no.
They beat the Thunder and then they lost the Lakers.
They beat. Wait, hold on. They didn't. You said who?
They beat the Thunder
and then lost.
And
the Thunder. You see, and then I'm gonna still blame the coach and the system because they don't want centers, but at the same time, Russell Westbrook his style of play, you can't even really have a center. So
you can definitely have a center.
They got rid of the
that man wide open at the 3-point line.
Wide open. You see, these are the things you don't talk about. These are the things you don't talk about.
See, the thing is, this is gonna be funny. I want to revisit this conversation at the end of the season and in the playoffs because when y'all see that Russ isn't asking for these centers to go. Russ has a great relationship.
No, we got to talk about it in the playoffs.
In the playoffs, he plays well with his centers.
In the playoffs, he doesn't play well.
Facilitator at heart.
He does not play well in the playoffs. His field goal percentage plummets to the playoffs.
That's true.
I'm going to be honest.
Wait, hold on, man. That's true. As the point guard, as the leader, is that winning basketball?
That's true for everybody.
Plummets? No, they don't plummet. Some
James
players
Harden plummets. What are you talking about? James Harden plummets.
You said everybody.
There are a number of point guards that plummet in the playoffs. There are a number of players that
field goal percentage that plummet.
Yes.
There are a number of players that play timid. Russell Westbrook doesn't play timid.
You remember that stretch of that stretch of games where Paul George went, I think it was like over 4 games, he went like 3 for 24 or something like that. It happens.
But
it happens like every year with Russell Westbrook. His shooting has gone down.
And nobody's on this. You keep putting people who are on lower levels than Russell Westbrook. Like Paul
George.
Paul George is not lower level.
James Harden is on the same, arguably on the same tier.
You said everybody. Like, it's not happening to LeBron. It's not happening to Kawhi. Kawhi was shooting like...
It's not... LeBron and Kawhi are 2 of the greatest players ever. Arguably, definitely within the
Russell
top
Westbrook broke like a 50-year record.
It's not even happening to Donovan Mitchell. It's not even happening to Donovan Mitchell.
It's not even our topic.
That's a fact.
Listen, I wasn't trying to get into it, but man...
No, because you brought it up.
No, it was the moderator that brought it up.
You brought it up. You brought up Russell Westbrook's name, and I've just been defending him ever since.
No, I didn't. No, I didn't. I think it was either you or Nova.
It was you.
I tried to avoid it.
You said the Lakers are not going to work with Russ. You specifically said that.
Yeah, because I think they're not going to work with Russ. But that doesn't.
Well, you just said man.
That doesn't mean that. No, but that doesn't mean I'm trying to target him and talk about him. I don't believe.
Brought it up.
We were talking about super teams, and they're a quote unquote super team, but I don't think they as a super team will not work.
Let me just put it like this, and we'll go from there. But this is the true difference, and we're going to see it more of. The Lakers are definitively a super team, but successful teams, right? Being a successful team does not make you a super team. The Lakers are a super team. The Nets are a super team. The Clippers, if they get Dame, they're going to be a super team. But good old fashioned, the Suns, the Bucks, the finals that we just saw. That was a battle of 2 well put together teams, no super teams included. I'm looking forward to that, more of that hopefully happening in the NBA because we could really see that happening again.
They will.
Going back to that 1 superstar, 2 superstar type of team.
They will. You know why? Because super teams don't really work.
They don't.
They don't really work.
Like the last 3 championships was not super teams.
They don't really work. I'm telling you. Because, listen, and you're gonna say I'm targeting Russell Westbrook, but this is why I don't believe that Russell Westbrook is the latest addition to the Lakers. I do not believe that the Lakers will win with Russell Westbrook. Just putting a bunch of names together doesn't mean they're gonna automatically work. It has to be a chemistry thing. Sometimes, and this is not an indictment on the stars, but sometimes a team will be better off adding a role player than a big name.
No, it's actually a fact.
Just because of the basketball principles and fundamentals. When you have, like for example, like the Lakers, again, I'm not targeting Russell, but like the Lakers, if they added somebody that shot the ball a little bit more, they would probably be a bigger threat to me. It's not because I think Russell Westbrook is whack. I think the play style doesn't work. When you build a team up from the draft, yes, sometimes especially when you're just starting off with your rebuilding process, like the Pistons with Cade Cunningham, you go for the best player. And then you draft. You're probably not going to be great with that best player. You're probably still going to have another high draft pick. Then you draft around those guys. You get free agent role players around those guys, and then you have a great situation. Look at the Hawks, right? Look at the Knicks.
Look at the Mavericks. Wait a second. The Knicks, that's not what the Knicks
I think
did.
it just breaks down into team needs.
The Knicks drafted well too, and then added
and then got rid of the person they were drafting around,
and then Reed started a rebuild again with RJ Barrett.
I mean, it's a 50-50 thing, really.
Into team needs, because like the Bucks are a version of that. Eric Bledsoe was playing like a mini Russell Westbrook, and that's part of the reason they couldn't advance because
but he wasn't as productive, and he wasn't doing
I'm not putting the blame on him. But I'm saying he and Giannis are doing the exact same things, trying to score in the exact same way. That's not helping nobody. You're basically you're just running to the same spots on the court.
Easy to
Holiday. It's very easy to defend. You just create a soft. You could create a soft zone, and all of a sudden now you've isolated. You kick two people out of the offense. Drew Holiday changes all that.
Play a zone. You just gotta cap out right outside of the paint.
Right, and force him to shoot.
Yes,
but Drew Holiday comes in and changes all that. Drew Holiday, if he went to the Lakers, I would be honestly terrified of that team. If I'm being real with you, if they had Drew Holiday and maybe like Rubio or something like that,
Ricky Rubio,
that would be crazy. Or just Mike Conley or something that I would without a doubt say that would be the craziest team, and I would be terrified of that.
Ricky Rubio,
and the next thing too.
You said I'm not saying like either.
Rubio.
I think
he can kind of shoot.
He can kind of shoot. He's a good facilitator, but that's why I also said he shoots a lot. I said Mike Conley too, because I like Mike Conley for that same reason. Mike Conley does that even better in my opinion, and I think he's doing a good job in Utah, but I don't think he's ever going to win anything there. So just go somewhere else.
I don't know if I ever see Utah going, but they're another example of a non-super team successful team.
Yeah. So and then the next thing,
I don't know if they can attract enough talent.
Yeah, to Utah, Salt Lake City. But
that's problematic, man. That's not. I mean, it is what it is, but it feels like that's not fair, man. Because then what's going to happen is Donovan Mitchell eventually he's going to become a Lillard. And then he's gonna want to leave to go to somewhere like the Lakers.
Yeah, but see at that point though, at least you tried. That's how I look at it. At least you try. That's why I don't. This is why nobody cares. If I was a fan
of that team, I would feel half that way, but at the same time, I'll be like, "Dang, how are we gonna get out of this situation?"
I mean, listen, I don't know about these other fan bases, but if the Trailblazers were in New York, people would be calling for Damian Lillard to be traded because at a certain point. Maybe it's just the way New York is, or like our basketball. Because they say
New York fandom is toxic. I'm going to say that right now.
They say New York fans are the most intelligent basketball fans in the NBA. This is what they say. I'm not saying
they
analysts.
Which ones? Name them.
Bruce Burke.
Yeah.
Somebody else. Stephen A. Smith.
Kellerman.
Max Kellerman is the ops. Anyway.
Iguodala.
Yeah.
I want Iguodala.
The reunite.
That man went back to the Warriors, man.
That's a fact.
That's what
he's gonna retire there.
Yeah, he's a Warrior.
Hitting big shots.
But anyway, I was saying, New Yorkers would want Damian Lillard to be traded, and we wouldn't be wrong. That's the right move. That's the right move to trade him, so you could get because you've reached a peak. And that's the thing. That's the thing with the super.
That's a real fact.
That's the thing with super
teams will never be able to get that kind of talent. Like I just saw an article today about
that's what you could trade.
And it was and I was looking at people having conversations about why don't free agents want to come to Toronto, and then why don't stars want to stay there? And a big reason that people were saying was like, why would you live there when you could live in LA where it's nice and warm and you can put your feet in the water and everything? Toronto's freezing cold, and you're gonna have to be like building towards something, and that's something that's important to these players, man.
I'm not gonna lie. The day that my law license is transferable to California, I'm out.
Right? Like,
I'm not even kidding. I'm dead ass out. It's a better living situation.
That's absolutely, and that's how people are viewing it. So, certain teams are always going to take that L because of location and because of fan base, like, and then you're gonna have superstars just ready to leave after some time.
And then the next thing with the super team thing is team culture. I had an argument a few days ago with a Nets fan, man. Shout out to Gordon Gow, my
Nets man, friend. That's the government.
He doesn't care.
You trying to get that man set up?
I told him. Listen, man.
You didn't run it by us.
Yeah. Oh, my fault. Well, this guy, my friend, who I can't name him.
Does he know about Marshawn Brooks?
He does.
You don't know about Marshawn Brooks. He's
a
fake fan.
Jared Wallace.
He does.
Allen
Brooke
Anderson.
Lopez.
He does.
Joe Johnson.
He does.
Joe Harris.
Darren Williams.
Yeah.
Come on, man.
But I had an argument with him, right?
Anthony Morrow.
I said,
come on, man, give me that.
Come on.
What you know about that?
This man Andre looked all these people up before.
No, I've been watching the game for years.
Change that screen.
For years. Oh, you been a Nets fan for years.
Why is your screen changing, man?
Nah, you always got to check the competition before. That's why I felt so good about switching over because I've been watching them for years.
Switching over. Make it sound like a cell phone service.
That's right. I'll be switching plans.
Anyway,
this is a good pick to the young fans out there. Listen, don't stay in a situation that's not working for you, and you can apply that to any aspects of life.
Justin LeBoy.
Yeah, give up. Give up
and walk across the street to the other team.
Yeah, and see how you really feel.
Go to that.
Anyway, the Nets have no culture. This is what I was arguing with this guy about.
Doing a bunch of community outreach.
The funny thing is, you're right.
They don't even have culture amongst themselves, man.
The team has no culture.
This is why Kyrie's the culture of the team.
Exactly.
Whatever he's doing at the moment, that's what they're about.
Man, I was you in a past life.
I was. What did he say? I was getting to the lane.
I was pulling.
I was pulling up.
I was you.
I was you.
I don't really get what you mean, man. I really don't get what you mean. I was perplexed, bewildered. Oh my gosh, what kind of team chemistry is that,
bro? What are you talking about,
bro? What are you talking about, man? I don't really get what you mean.
But I feel like a lot of teams in the league don't have a culture.
Yes,
I think
what's Sacramento's culture? I'm actually interested.
He actually brought up that team.
What's Sacramento's culture?
That's their issue. Wait, go ahead.
Sacramento's a great example.
I don't know, man.
What's Sacramento be doing? What do they do?
But see, what's
the Clippers culture?
This is why these teams don't win.
People?
This is why these teams don't win. And then he wanted to say, the players are the culture. This culture argument is overrated. I don't agree with that.
Wait 1 second.
It's more than that.
You named two good teams. And I think one thing about, so I'm going to answer your thing about the Clippers culture. PG-13.
Why do you get so bright when you're talking about the Clippers?
Listen, man, they brighten my life.
PG-13. I brighten your life? That's crazy, man.
Right. PG-13 and Reggie Jackson have a crazy culture. They're really messing with each other.
What is the culture?
That's chemistry. That's not culture.
That's not exactly. What's the Clippers culture? I'm not trying to find out.
When you are playing on that team,
I need to know the franchise.
When you're playing on that team and you are trying to work towards something, the fans are going to create. We can talk about how the Spurs were a system team. That's us as fans looking at how they play basketball and saying that's their culture.
Yes.
When you're playing for that team, you have to create the culture within yourself. So if it's you're grinding out and you and your teammates,
man, that's a very non-committal answer. What the hell is their culture? What is
I disagree.
How is that non-committal? I mean, you have to work.
You're
towards
telling me
something.
they're building. That tells me they don't have a culture.
No man.
Because
he's asking you what the culture is.
But the Lakers the Lakers have a very different.
Oh, he knows what I'm asking.
It's grinded out. I don't know.
That's the culture.
They have this
grind all your life.
See, this is exactly. You sound just like Gordon.
Underdog culture.
That's fans, man. I'm telling you.
But that's how they view themselves as underdogs. They go out there every single night playing like that.
But
they tell themselves that's how they talk within the locker room.
But
the Lakers have a very different one.
But culture.
You gotta get a Lakers fan on here. I need to hear their point of view.
Yeah, that's a fact.
Well, the Lakers embrace the spotlight. They love being in the spotlight.
That's their culture.
That's their culture. It's Showtime. They embrace that.
Showtime. You're right. Showtime is their culture.
But here's the thing, though. Team culture is not just about the players. It really comes from. Now, I'm not gonna say all the way to the top, but at least the front office done.
That's a fact.
That's where it comes from. How they design
and how they try to portray the team.
No, it's not even that. It's how they design the team.
I just don't see people with no culture creating culture.
Hold on, wait a second. It's how they design the team. If you look at Pat Riley, right? From the Miami Heat with LeBron, from the LeBron days to now, from the Alonzo Mourning days to now, they have the same culture. They play
maybe
the time. They're tough-nosed defense. The offense is not a concern of theirs.
What's a tough nose?
Anyway, they get defense, man. That they get defensive-minded players, and that's why they play the defense the way that they do. Right? Look at who they got this year. They got PJ Tucker and Kyle Lowry. That was not an accident. They got those two specifically. It's not an accident that they were one of the best teams defensively the last few years. That is their culture. When you look at the Knicks did not have the Knicks had a culture back in the 90s and before.
And then they took it to Miami. Pat Riley.
Yes, Pat Riley. Shout out to Fat Joe who called this out. He took the culture from the Knicks and took it to Miami. And now we're just now getting it back with Tom Thibodeau, who was an assistant coach back then, right? With the who's an assistant coach back in the 90s with Jeff Van Gundy in them. The Suns have a culture too. Van
Gundy?
Offense, the way
yeah. Okay.
That run and gun type offense that they have now it's not the same, but it's very similar, not in play style, but as far as fast-paced offense, to the way that the Steve Nash Suns were playing. They like that. That's their culture. The team.
Steve Nash Thunder?
No. Steve Nash Suns.
Steve Nash. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. That's their culture.
And Mike D'Antoni's over there too. And Amari Stoudemire. They're the Phoenix Nets.
The thing is, the Nets. They sold out their culture when they got rid of Caris. First, it started with D'Angelo Russell, and then Caris LeVert.
That's really a fact.
There is no. I disagree, and this is what I was saying in the argument with my friend.
And Jeremy Lin were nice.
Yes, they should never have traded for James Harden.
That's a fact.
I think so too.
They should have never. People say you got to go for it. You got to go for it. But I think Nets fans were like, nah, you got to get the stars of blah. No, because now what you're doing is giving into your stars. You need a foundation. When your stars are running your organization, you're in trouble. This is why the Lakers do not like LeBron James.
Would
not
you
the
say
Lakers.
That if they
the Lakers fans.
Would you say that if they had lost in the finals?
If they had lost in the finals, the argument could be made it was because they're soft inside. Right?
They are soft inside. They gotta fix that.
And they're not deep. Which were they traded away their depth.
No, I will say shout out to Bruce Brown.
Bruce Brown. You see, they had Bruce Brown parading like a big man for a lot of the year. You see what I'm saying?
6'5" and holding it down, getting rebounds and all that.
Getting me tight.
You need a play. You know who to look for.
But these are
Bruce Brown.
Bruce Brown.
Bruce Brown. But see, these are the things I'm talking about. It comes from the top down, and team culture is important. When you sell out your team to your stars, which is very likely to happen when you build a super team, what happens is you end up, when these guys leave, which inevitably they will leave because they tend to be older, right? You're stuck with nothing. These front offices don't want to be the Spurs for some reason. They rather be the Lakers, and it does not work for other teams.
So
that's the end of my soliloquy. But
I have a question.
Because I just make one point. Right. Just one point. Like the Spurs are kind of stuck with nothing right now, though.
You said what?
The Spurs are kind of like stuck with nothing right now. They're in a bad place right now.
But that's the nature of the game. That you're gonna get stuck, but you're not gonna be stuck for like 10 years straight.
And that's
not gonna happen.
They've been stuck for almost 10 years. So
I disagree.
What are the what's going on with the Bulls and Pistons? Because those are two teams who had a very distinct.
They have no culture. I don't think they really have a.
And they don't
vision.
have stars either, though. So
no,
what happened?
But they kept going for guys like Blake Griffin, guys like that. They just tried to get the names, but not really think about the fit and the future and building a culture.
They had Andre Drummond for mad long. They were trying to still duke it out. They wanted him to just be some Bill Laimbeer type.
Bill Laimbeer was shooting,
but he can shoot threes. That's a fact. But I'm just saying the duke it out part.
But that was Andre Drummond. What about the rest of the team? How were they building out the
Reggie
team?
Jackson.
How were they building out the team? What was their vision for the team? A lot of these front office. This is what I'm saying. The Bulls lost their culture. I don't know what the Bulls are trying to do.
Well, I mean, if we
but they're built, but
they didn't have one.
That's not true. That's not true.
But that's the whole reason for this Last Dance documentary is because they said my son was destroying the team.
Who? The GM?
Yeah, man.
He didn't really. I don't know that
he was fighting with MJ the whole
you gotta understand. You gotta understand. Yeah, but hold on. But they won, right?
Yes. Was that MJ's?
You can't. But you can't. This is my whole point. This is my whole point. You can't sell out your team to the players. This whole player empowerment thing. Yes, I get it. It's important and it's especially for black men who have power and money and clout. But at the same time, you have to run your business for the best interest of your business, not for the best interest of just the player on your team. And here's the thing that people don't talk about. When a player leaves their home team and goes to another team, this man Andre looks like he's sleeping. when a player leaves their home team and goes to another team, what they're really doing is using the team for their benefit. They don't care. They feel no connection. They feel no connection to the fan base or the team. This is why you see a lot of free agents.
Is that how you feel about LeBron?
That's how I feel about Kawhi.
That's how I feel about LeBron. This is why Lakers fans don't like LeBron. Most Lakers fans do not like LeBron James. I think nobody talks about this in the media, but we know because we're on the ground. Lakers fans do not like LeBron James.
Wait.
We're on the ground. We're on the ground.
Wait.
Not in LA, but they're fans all over the country.
No.
Lakers fans do not like LeBron James. They don't talk about this on ESPN. Fox Sports, you don't talk about this. Lakers fans do not like LeBron James, and it's because he's old. They feel that they are selling out the team to LeBron and building around LeBron when he's going to be old.
That's a fact.
I'm telling you.
I've had this conversation with multiple Lakers fans.
Lakers fans do not like LeBron James. They don't like that man.
To verify
Lakers Nation. I need you to
they don't like him. I'm telling you.
To drop your thoughts below in the comment section.
They tolerate him because he's a superstar.
Do you like LeBron James? Yes or no?
Lakers. Do you like me boxes? Y'all remember those from when we were kids? Man. That's what's happening right now.
Man.
Oh man.
Do you like LeBron? Yes or no?
Oh man.
I'm telling you. They know, and they know it's because they're selling out.
I think
you cannot sell out your team because it is so hard to win a chip that I don't think it's worth the risk of selling out your team to the players who are on your team, especially when they're only there trying to.
I think you're talking about something like I think you're talking about some like deep analysis fandom because I understand in terms of if you are a Lakers fan.
How long have we
been going? One thing that I noticed right before LeBron went to the Lakers is people on the Lakers fans were trashing LeBron because it was between LeBron and Kobe, right? So of course LeBron goes to the Lakers, and now you have the opportunity to get more finals appearances. You have one of the greatest players, so of course you're naturally going to just say, "Well, I can't stay tight about this," even if you might be slightly tight about it. You can't be tight about it for that long because you're just going to be bitter. You're going to be mad and stubborn instead of enjoying the same thing that the rest of your Lakers fans are.
They're looking at the games with a side eye. I'm telling you, they're looking at the Lakers and they're like, even when they win games, they're like, nah, this is not going to work. I'm telling you.
I think it's like this.
They look, especially since they gave a Brandon Ingram for that, man. No, they don't like LeBron James.
But they want a chip. They want a whole chip.
That's the thing is that they won a championship. I think if it didn't work out and they didn't win anything, then it would be like, yo, LeBron, you never should have come here. Yo, you are.
It's not enough, bro. One is not enough. One is not enough for
now. That is an interesting thing because that is why enough. That is the reason I wanted to call together this whole podcast episode is because I think I agree.
The reason you wanted to call us together, we called ourselves together because we're on a schedule.
All right, so I think that part of the conversation about the Lakers as a franchise and organization is that they've won like mad chips.
Yeah,
they've won like crazy. So to sacrifice everything that you were doing to get an opportunity at one, I think that there's a conversation like because other teams are going to be looking at that and they're going to say, well, you know, we don't have a chip at all, or maybe we only have one in our history. Maybe we should go about.
Yeah, but you got to look at the. Way. I don't mean to cut you off, but you got to look at the deeper narrative about it. There, even though it's within the same family, there is a change of management that happened. It was Jeannie Buss's father was doing all the winning, and then it was down to her son, and then he passed it down to her. And in her reign as the CEO and owner of the Lakers, she didn't do any winning. So there's a huge pressure on her to bring home something.
But
so generally speaking, yes, I agree with you. But when we're talking about these teams, you got to remember it's not just like the same guy who's been owning them since the 1950s is still alive. You know, there's a pressure on these new owners as well to bring home a chip. They got people to keep happy.
I agree.
let me ask you,
look at the Lakers floor.
Regardless of that, that's also part of Lakers culture. They always go after like the big stars. That's how they win.
But they always have the core
though. Signings.
But they always have the core though. They had Kobe, they had Magic. Kareem became part of their core because he was there for like 10 years plus or something like that.
That's the thing. They happen to draft MJ, like Magic Johnson, and they happen to draft Kobe. But their plan was for Kareem and Shaq.
Wouldn't you argue though that now like Anthony Davis is young enough to be like their core now?
You can't look at Anthony Davis like a young guy, but you can't. He's older.
Why not? He's 27 years old. Why can't we look at him like he's
because his body moves like it's
he's
like
not playing
33.
like that. He's not moving like that, man.
Yeah, you can't look at it like that.
I said this before. At this point in his career, this should be his team, not LeBron's team.
Mm-hmm.
He's too young, and he's like at the.
But also,
knocking at the door.
LeBron hasn't slowed down that much. He's slowed down, but he hasn't slowed down that damn much.
That is a fact. But I think like.
But I don't know though. I don't know because you got to compare him to the others
selling out
at
their
his
core,
position.
Because I think that the Lakers, if we as fans can look at Anthony Davis and we can look at LeBron, and we can understand this is LeBron's team more than it's Anthony Davis's. These skilled GMs and organizations, they can feel the same way about throwing millions of dollars at this guy instead of this guy. The Lakers have winning as a part of their culture to the point where when I said what's on the Lakers floor, they have the stars for each of their championship. They wear it like a badge of honor on their chest.
Yes.
This is part of their culture. You have other teams like the Celtics don't have that to the same degree, even though they've won.
It's close. It's pretty close.
But they don't.
No, but Josh is right. They don't have it to the
like
same
that.
degree.
They don't show it like that, and they don't go fiending for things like that.
True.
They've kept cores.
That's true.
The Lakers, they. Like I said before, with LeBron, it's scorched earth. Everything that they were trying to do before, the core that they were building.
Yes.
We see LeBron is available. Screw it. We're scorching all of these plans, scrapping it all.
And this is what I'm talking about with team culture.
I have a question. I don't know. Do you think Boston would have done the same thing if he was willing to go there instead of the Lakers? Like they would have given up like Jason, Jaylen Brown.
They were not going to. They were not going to give up Julius. I know Julius was the year before, but they weren't going to give up Julius Randle and Brandon Ingram and Lonzo. They weren't going to give up all of them.
Right. But they did.
Eventually.
The Lakers did, but if the Celtics had these players,
Danny, what?
They had Paul Pierce. This is what I'm saying. They never got rid of Paul Pierce.
Danny Ainge would sell his son.
That's not.
For a superstar.
Paul Pierce and Rondo were there for a long time.
A very long time.
A very long time. That's what I'm trying to say. Like we can't ignore. Look, I know we look at these moves and say, "Oh, these are big moves," blah blah blah. But there's a limit. There's a limit that you have to. You cannot sell out your team to one man, and this is what the Lakers are going to do with LeBron. If you look at how they built the team, this is the type of team that LeBron likes. Russell Westbrook may be a different type of guard that he likes, but everyone else, this is the LeBron James type team. And when he gets older,
when he gets older,
that's why he wants Russ right now because he's getting older.
That's been the case with every LeBron team.
But
it's not even just the
LeBron
Lakers.
has been younger.
But it's the Lakers doing it though. This is what I'm saying. It's the Lakers doing it. It's the Nets doing it with KD and Kyrie. We gotta put these things into perspective because
even if
these super teams aren't,
I just want to put into context. Sorry, keep going, but at this point, we've crossed into the threshold of super teams into free agency, mostly focusing on the Lakers. Just so for the record that we're hitting both of our topics. Paul, please continue.
Yeah, they got everybody.
If KD never got injured, or I know not that he never got injured, but when he came back from his injury, if he didn't play the same, the Nets would still have Kyrie, and they could still trade for Harden. And Kyrie is young enough to where he could be like the face of the Nets for like the next 5 years. LeBron is going to be old, and I'm not saying he's going to have some crazy drop off, but if you're willing to put all of your trust into this man, and now like let's say Bronny, his son, gets drafted by the Cavs, and LeBron's like, well, you know what, I got to go play with him. The Lakers they would have sold their soul for like maybe one or two championships, and then have no core. They would just have to be figuring it out. And I know that there's some Lakers fans who are gonna say, well, those two championships, that's good enough for me. Like, if I gotta wait 5 or 6 years for another one, that is what it is. But I know that there's other ones who will be like, nah, I wish we didn't do that. I wish that we had like sort of built towards it because it would have felt more earned or more deserved.
And here's the thing.
You know, there's lots of different people out there. I'm not speaking for one just person.
And it doesn't have to be like that. Why are these teams not looking at the Spurs as what happened? Like the Spurs used to be the team everybody talks about as the gold standard, and nobody's trying to be the Spurs. A few teams, but it feels like a lot of these teams are.
Well, Spurs are similar to the Bulls. Like, I just watched The Last Dance again recently, and one thing that I noticed this time around was just how long some of these guys were on the Bulls before they even won. Before they
That's
just
a fact.
kept putting in this work. Like
people act like it happens all
like
together.
Steve Kerr was there. Michael did not win. He was getting beat up, and like he had to really earn that championship. And I think that makes it sweeter in the long run. And that's a big difference between what guys are doing now.
And
it
gives you
Spurs are doing that too.
And it gives you a threat going forward. That's the thing. Because if you have a core that you could believe in, that's going to be there for a long period of time, more than 5 years.
That's a fact.
At the very least 5 years, you have a chance every year. This is why I'm saying the Spurs. The Spurs literally won 03,
the Warriors were like
05, and 07. That's every other. That means for 6 years. No, not 6 years. 03, 05, from 03 to 07, they literally had a legitimate chance of winning at half the time they did.
And in some ways, you can also like manipulate other teams in a sense, because I remember for years people were building teams to try and beat the Warriors. Yeah. And so like for example, the Rockets, they're
training every day to beat the Warriors.
They're trying to outshoot the Warriors. So they're building a team of just 3-point shooters and got them shooting threes. They never shot a three before in their life, right? But their coach is saying, "Go ahead, son, do that. We got to get ready for Golden State." Yeah. Now you've set up a team, and they're not going to really find any success because they're not even nice like that. So, but the Golden State Warriors did that. They didn't even mean to do that. They just did it by being so nice.
They built that another team.
Yeah, they built their own threats, and the threats couldn't do anything. So like that, having believing a system, it creates a real threat in like the NBA. And I think LeBron and KD in these moves, like if KD stayed with the Warriors, I understand he was done with them. If KD stayed with the Warriors, they would still be very dominant right now.
Exactly.
They're terrifying right now.
Exactly.
Like
exactly.
People would still be having to try and figure out what they're going to do about
But he left because he was using them. We don't look at it like that. But the stars, the players are not always the victim. He used the Golden State Warriors.
Wait a second. Expand on that because that's interesting.
The players are not always. We make it look.
What do you mean that's it? He's been making this point for 20 minutes. You just picked up on it now.
Okay, the moderator's low-key rapping. I'll say this
for 20 minutes. Wait a second.
He was using the Warriors, man.
He was using
to get his championships.
Yes,
he said this word for word.
And now he's using the Nets. Now he's using the Nets. He doesn't really have a home team anymore. I don't like OKC.
Wait, so he's a nomad?
Yes, yes.
Yo.
Man, I would be. Man, if my phone was on the battery, I'd be blasting that word right now. Man.
KD the nomad. Oh no. Nah. He's a homesick nomad.
I would say OKC is his team, but that's Russell Westbrook's team, and he it was such a bad breakup.
Yo, KD, I'm gonna give you my IG name because you're really homesick nomad. That's crazy.
He'll probably dedicate it to his burner account.
Oh man. I mean, listen, that is a fact, but like, and it kind of goes into a conversation we had on the podcast a while ago about. I was just listening, like it was the letter that KD wrote to OKC, like about how he got treated on his game back and how he's done with them and everything like that. I remember there was a point where like I was reading some comments from like Thunder fans. They said, well, if KD came back here after the Warriors, it would be kind of awkward. But if he came back and won a ring, Like, it is what it is. Like, we would kind of forgive him. We would always remember, but it is what it is. At least he got us something. Now I think it's raps for that. Now it's like it's too far gone. Like it's raps for that.
All. They disowned him.
You're doing too much now. You went to the Nets to try and form a super team. You could have came back here again. No. You're doing too much now.
He should have never left.
I agree. He doesn't have a hometown. And that's kind of
that
why
was always
I don't
the plan, though.
I don't like this thing with LeBron, man. That's kind of. I said this before. LeBron's not the GOAT or the boat, man. I've said this before. LeBron was the boat. This man is not the boat. Because if he was really the boat, I don't know. Allen Iverson.
Kobe Bryant. If
he was really the boat,
and MJ is the GOAT,
he would be doing this in Cleveland.
That's a fact. Like
Cleveland, this is for you is one of the hardest quotes I've ever heard in my life. That scream, that passion-filled scream of giving the city something they have never experienced before. That was amazing, miraculous. Coming back from 3-1, that comeback is amazing. That narrative, that's what we need you for, narrator. Narrate that story because that story was crazy. Then you go to the Lakers and start making Space Jam 2.
Then you go to the Lakers. That man's Hollywood.
Hollywood, man.
Hollywood. But with that, thank you for joining us for this episode, Fast.
Oh man, Damian Lillard come to the Los Angeles Clippers.
No, that's a fact. But
Kemba is home.
That's a fact.
Oh yeah, we gotta talk about that.
Kemba is home.
I'm just gonna say this.
Kemba's about to be nice. He's about to ball out for New York.
I think he's gonna ball out, and it's gonna have the opposite effect on what Paul was talking about earlier. What? I think he's. I think I see it going one or two ways. I see Kemba balling out and making the team bad. Or the whole team is going to do well, and Kemba's
going to be the best New York point guard since Rod Strickland.
Man, Mark Jackson.
Come on, man. Stephon Marbury. Starbury, man.
Starbury, bro.
That was a rocky relationship. Shout out Stephon, but that was a rocky period in Knicks history, too.
Y'all forgot about Chauncey Billups?
Come on, man. Stephen Barry's. Go get some Starberries.
Y'all forgot about my son, Jeremy Lin.
You know who low-key was my favorite? Not my favorite. Who I used to really like? Chris Duhon. That was my
man.
Oh, John Starks in
that was my guy.
Come on. Chris, what y'all know about Vin Baker, man? Come on, man.
I thought you were talking about Vin Baker, Paul's favorite player.
Oh, man.
Ron
Baker does nothing on Vin.
This is why you don't like Ron Baker, because you don't like role players. I realize that. You don't like...
I like Ron. I didn't like Ron Baker specifically because of you. Because this man was averaging 1 point a game. You're telling me he was winning us games.
Built different.
He did his job. He did his job. He did his job.
What was his job? What was his function?
To score that point. To score that point.
Be a threat.
Come on, man. Son, I put you in the game. You better score that point, man. What else are you here for?
You go to that free throw.
You gotta get a foul. It's just a 1, though. It's just a 1. That's crazy.
50% shooter from free throws.
He's not even scoring. He's just getting fouled. That's crazy.
But see, here's the thing. Kemba, he literally solved our issue. Our biggest issues are solved with Kemba Walker.
He doesn't facilitate, man.
We don't need Why do people keep saying?
Shout out Mitchell Robinson.
I don't understand. I don't get it. What is Julius? Do you all know that Julius Randle is a great passer? You don't know that Julius. But Julius Randle's getting.
What's the issue that Kemba fixes?
That's a fact. I want to know what he
gives Derrick. He gives Derrick Rose a rest. He gives
Derrick Rose is giving him a rest.
Shout out Patty Mills.
No, he's not. What are you talking about? Kemba's going to start.
Rose is coming off the bench on that team.
Yeah, exactly. No, I understand what you're saying.
Shout out Evan.
Okay, wait, hold on. Let me explain. Yes, he's going to help us too. But this is the thing. Derrick Rose.
Evan Fournier is going to be bigger for them than Kemba Walker.
No, he won't. I promise you that. I promise.
Shout out Nick Batum.
He's on the Knicks. But anyway.
He's on the Clippers, man. That's what I know.
All right.
And so is Reggie Jackson. Come on.
I wanted Reggie Jackson. Once I saw you got Kemba, I was in mad.
Let's go.
I was in mad.
Bobby Schmurda.
Kemba Walker is a better version of Reggie Jackson.
What you said? What now?
I said Kemba Walker. Kemba Walker is a better version of Reggie Jackson.
Reggie Jackson plays defense.
I'm hoping Reggie Jackson
and he got goggles.
I'm just saying, man. We've seen the story before, bro.
Nah, man. That man was balling out in the playoffs, man. That man was balling out.
Allan and I have seen it up close.
Man,
we've seen it before. So let's just hope he keeps with it.
When he's motivated, he's a pro.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Listen, man, Kemba Walker's not going to play no types of defense. I'm just let you know that.
Listen, I don't listen.
I go to 2K My Court and I practice all my moves on that man.
Tom Thibodeau,
but no defense.
You talk about 5-on-5 defense now.
Yeah,
basketball.
I
Tom Thibodeau's already scheming on ways to hide Kemba Walker on defense. It's possible.
Come on, man. They need to go get Ben Simmons.
No, no. Keep that man away.
Ben Simmons was aggressive, then he'd actually be the perfect.
Where should Ben Simmons go?
But he's a bum.
Where should Ben Simmons go? Last question to end the night, man.
Let me say what Kemba helps with though.
The Clippers.
Quick.
I honestly, I've been thinking about it. I've been thinking about it, man.
That is funny.
As a power forward,
Toronto.
Good luck. He's not a power forward. Get that out the end.
If we could force him to be that, man.
Low key, if you could force him to be a power forward, he would be nice.
That would be fire, man. That would be crazy fast breaks.
Violating people.
Crazy
left and right.
It's not gonna happen.
I'm not as mad as I once was when I first saw the idea. But I think he should go to the Warriors.
And do what?
But the question is, do you trade for Draymond or do you have him and Draymond together?
You can't have him and Draymond. That's a recipe for disaster.
That's a fact. But I don't know, man. They're not going to get rid of Draymond, man. They love Draymond.
This is why he should go to the Warriors. I don't know where that man should go, Ben Simmons. I don't know. You got to get a jump shot.
That man might go to the Wizards.
The Spurs? I don't know.
Spurs teach people. They don't even get DeMar DeRozan now. So he's just going to be the new guy on the Spurs. They're going to be his team now. That'll be, going against Ben Simmons and the Spurs.
He's going to try to be the greatest Raptor in history.
Yeah, all right. They said they're building statues of that man when he retired.
Kyle Lowry?
Yeah, that's who it is.
DeMar DeRozan. You have to have some words with the Raptors.
Forget that. Forget that.
They're disrespecting you too much.
Forget that.
They're disrespecting you too much.
Shoot threes.
Threes. Oh my god!
Shoot some threes.
I don't even know if you have to make it. Just attempt.
Shoot some threes, man. You're too comfortable with the mid range. We know you're nice already. We know you can make them. Shoot some threes.
Who's going to shoot the point of the game? Why would
we got Fred VanVleet now. We don't need you, man. We already seen something better than you.
Listen, I'll tell you who shoot some threes. Kemba Walker.
Yeah, that's
another problem that we had.
And he'll get them shot on him.
We had a threat from the 3-point line at the point.
Here's what I want to see. If
Kemba Walker is New York basketball, cardiac.
If Tom Thibodeau can force this man to play a semblance of defense and to facilitate, the Knicks are going to be scary.
Kemba I don't think you understand. Kemba is going to play the best basketball of his career. He's playing at home. He's at home.
Man, I gotta wait to see
it. His injuries kind of worry me, but we'll see.
We shall see.
Last year did not look good at all.
Back in the city, man.
He was. This is what I'm saying. Motivation,
man.
Real,
Boston is not.
It wasn't motivation. It was injured like all year. Yeah, like
Boston's not an exciting town, man. It's a college town, man.
Oh, come on, get out of here. The Celtics and the Red Sox.
Who wants to play? Who wants to go to a Red Sox game, man?
All right, this guy's just chatting at this moment. End the podcast.
Come on, man. Let's go.
I'm a Mets fan. Shout out my son Pete Alonso.
Oh man,
Francisco Lindor.
Yo, shout out my son
Dominic
Pablo.
Smith.
Come on, man.
Come on. That's crazy.
Come on, man. Shout out my son Pedro.
Where's our host?
Pedro Martinez.
Right what that man was
David Wright.
Red Sox.
Jose Reyes.
First.
They're doing a lot of chatting.
Shout out to Jose Reyes. Shout out to Strawberry.
We got a lot to think about, and there's gonna be a lot more for us
nice artist
for next episode. But for now, I'll leave off on this. Ben Simmons is whack. The Lakers are probably gonna work.
He's gonna go to your team.
Didn't you say that last episode?
He's gonna go to your team.
Did you wait? What did you end off last episode with?
He's gonna go to
probably
your team.
Along the same thing. Ben Simmons is whack.
You didn't see that video with him and Rondo?
Huh?
You didn't see that video of him and Rondo shooting threes?
He puts out a video every summer of him shooting threes, and he goes to the league and does.
Yeah, he's gonna go to your team and do that.
The Nets. He's gonna go to the Nets. We're not accepting him.
The Lakers.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
We'll put that in the promo, man. Louis said that. Oh man.
Let's go, Russ. What? Let's go Nets.
Let's go North. No, let's go Lakers. Say it. Say what you want to say.
I will never.
I'll say it with you.
I'll never say it. I'll say it with you.
LeBron. LeBron on 3. Come on, man. LeBron on 3. Live, laugh, love.
Live, laugh, love, man.
Yo, I gotta say one more thing, man. Space Jam 2 was legit a LeBron commercial. The entire movie was a LeBron commercial. They had LeBron in different TV series as LeBron in Game of Thrones. They had LeBron as a cartoon character. They had LeBron flying. It was LeBron and Warner Brothers. They built a Space Jam 1 was just a nice movie about basketball and some cartoon characters.
A fact.
Space Jam 2 is a LeBron like a Michael Jordan commercial. It's a LeBron. You see the jersey. Come on, man. Don't blur that out. You can't blur that out. Come on, man.
The Barons
Toon Squad. The Toon Squad versus the Goon Squad. Why'd you call yourself a goon if you didn't want to be called a thug? All right, I'm off.
All right, come on.
All right, and with that, thank you for joining us for this episode of Fast
Oh my God.
Catch y'all later. Peace.
Oh man. Goon Squad.